ahead and clean the lens. I feel like it's a little too bright. A little bit better. Hey, Assidious, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back, brother. How are you? Good morning to you. Yeah, currently fasting, so it's the schedule is all different. I mean, life in general is different in this month. It's a holy month, so it's great. Mario, what up, brother? Mario them man. Just watching here, AMC on the 15-minute uh, live chart. And I'm seeing that we're beginning the fifth wave, which is really actually where we gotta start picking up right now. Um, so I anticipate a nice move up a little bit, and I anticipate this to be a very big, bigger, a little bit of a bigger push. Lots and lots of stocks to short today. Ready for another day of price discovery? Yep. Um, I'm with that, assiduous, but yesterday we said this. Like, you remember, guys, when we were talking about it in the charts, we were saying we're either gonna have our little rip up, or we're gonna be consolidating. I didn't see the third scenario where they drop us today. Um, in fact, I'm relieved that they didn't do that, or that did not happen. In fact, sorry. The reason why that's exciting is because if we were to get confirmed on the new wave, to get confirmed down movement for this week at least, then today would have been a bloody red day. Like, I would have expected some sort of 7, 8, 9% down movement. Which again I didn't see happening, and gladly didn't. We only see some consolidation, and that was the pick we had yesterday. Is to see consolidation most likely, and then you're gonna see a lot of buying back. They got a lot of buying back to do, um, you know, toward the end of this hour, and then you're gonna see some probably, I would say, around 6 p.m. And I made myself clear about, you know, let's see who's that. Hold on, hold on. KJW thought for sure we would be 100 today. um, yeah, I think I was telling Mario that, on the comment section, I was telling him, like, I'm ready for this thing to do its thing. I've been ready for over a year and a half now, almost. Um, but yeah, anyways, back to this, and I could see them, like, by 6 o'clock tonight. They have some quite a little bit of buying to do. They got quite of a buying back to do. So I see it, picking up a little bit right now here in the last 30 minutes or so of the market. And clearly, let's see, nice. bbig is having a good run. um, Very nice. You know what I dodged today, guys? I dodged a big, big killer. And I exited my position ASAP. He was in Tesla. Remember when I was telling you guys I had some puts in Tesla? ASAP. I was able to save myself. This would have been this would have been a disaster today. But I exited out because, the good thing about fasting and Ramadan, see, even God is helping us with this, or especially me, is by default, because of the schedule change and the fasting and everything, I literally stay up until like every day until like almost the market opens. So I stay up throughout all night, pre-market, doing my prayers, reading scriptures, holy scriptures, and doing charts and reading on things and doing some researches and stuff. Because I don't have, I stay away from my two businesses at least for the most part right now, especially the restaurant. I remember the days where I still had to work while everybody's outside eating and drinking and having fun, like life is normal, while I was actually serving and managing the restaurant still. Uh, at that time, we were still small, so we didn't have no other people to run the restaurant, no other employees. It was just me and my brother, and that was in the beginning stages. And so it was so crazy. It was so crazy, fasting and everything, and you watching everybody eat and drink, and you're preparing the food, and everything smells so great. And you guys have no idea, especially what used to kill me the most was the steak cut fries. um, we have those killer steak cut fries. We put some paprika on them, and it's crazy. It's crazy. So, anyways, yeah, I'm away from that. So by default, I'm up all night because I sleep throughout most of the market. If I don't see anything exciting when the market opens, and I see that it's the signal of consolidation, what I do is I have two alarms. So one, I wake up right around one ish, 1:30, 1 o'clock, because normally after repo and reverse repo operations, that's when a different trend happens in the stock market in general. So when I saw from the morning that this was, a nothing burger, but of a consolidating day, and they're trying to see what they want to do, what they want to buy, what they want to, what they want to short, and all that stuff. And then around 3 o'clock starts picking up. But the good thing for us on the chart is it obviously looks like there's a lot of buying that they have to do, and they've just been storing it just so that they can have it probably around either I would expect it now, like start changing direction, not much, a little bit up, um, and then possibly by 6 o'clock in the after hours you're gonna see some covering that happen. They have until then basically to do their covering, but also on top of that, um, it signals to a big day tomorrow. I just have to, I'm just not I just don't want to even say this, but we on the 50-minute chart, I've seen a bearish pennant on AMC. So I almost want to kind of like block it out, so I don't want to even look at that. um so um but in the same time, it's in the red regardless. It's been in the red, so it's basically probably confirming that movement. We're gonna talk also about oh, Quentin, what's up, brother? How are you? CG is like, be careful fasting, man. First sign is irritability. I remember when I quit smoking, everyone hated me for the first 2 weeks. Yeah, for me, it's a little different. The first few days are normally nothing, like I don't feel it much. After that, it starts getting to me, but my biggest problem is water. Everything else I'm fine. Food is not a problem. I'm not, I can't, I won't sweat it. But then again, I do have this thing where I don't want to take my anger out, or if I'm frustrated with something, I just don't see it being fair that I take it out, on anyone else, whether it's Ramadan or not. this month just gives us the opportunity, obviously, to get to even eradicate that and grow from that level. You see the Forbes article magazine on Kenny. Can the guy look more like a villain? LOL. Was it the one that he was talking about the black swans and everything? Because I was trying to make a video on that thing, and I think I'm gonna end up just telling everyone the story like this. Yep. Yeah. You see, okay, you see Assiduous, and you guys, you see how this is why I kept telling you guys that this guy is getting a promotion for what he's been doing to the market and to us as a market maker, the leading market maker in the US. It's because you see that the guy is switching to become the market maker in the making in the crypto world, you know. And he mentioned last year, there was many times where he said crypto is not good, it's terrible, blah blah blah, but then he switched his stance on it. um, and then on top of that, you know, he said that once it gets regulated, then he would trade it. It's crazy. You know what he means by once it gets regulated? Once he puts his hands on it, basically, then he would trade it. Well, of course, you know, the partnership with Sequoia and Paradigm, um, you know, by selling them 5% of his of Citadel securities, that's huge, you know. And the crazy thing is, like, the guy is he's speaking and he's talking already. Like, if you've seen him in that, I've even seen the interview before that article. I've seen another interview. When the guy's talking, you can see he's always talking like he thinks he's the president of the country. You know, when he's talking, he always puts his crosses his legs, which is in an interview or in a meeting. That's a sign of confidence or dominance. That's just body signals, you know, body language. And when he speaks, he's always speaking like, you know, like this, and you know, it's kind of like he's the president of the country. Um, and on top of that, I know they get taught to do that, you know, hey, act like this so that you don't even look like, you know, we're losing this fight. But even like I said, from the big get go, I told you guys that even if these guys get toppled on the meme stock saga, um, he's gonna walk out unscathed with the money that he made, that he stole and robbed, and you know, he's gonna move on with different things. Now, as far as for me, to me, of course, I hate it. Of course, it bugs me because, you know, people like us, we got to do so much and it got to be all correct. And the second we even, you know, have a hiccup, we pay dearly for it. Where guys like him, you know, they can do wrong. They don't even have to do great. They can do shitty and they can do wrong, and yet you have our Fed system saying, "Don't worry, buddy, I got you." You know, here's some money, here's some billions, take it. Taxpayers are gonna take care of us. They'll keep paying. You know, that's what bugs me the most on it. But yeah, saw the article, read it. Um, Tiny, welcome to the chat. I know he looks evil as F. I thought it was fake. Yeah, no, he's. If you guys realize, go back to look at Ken Griffin's pictures of before 2020, and then look at it now, the beginning of 2022. The guy, I think we made him look so much older and more evil. I think we laminated the horns a bit more. So you can go and look at it. It was just so funny when I was looking at it. I think it was like 2 days ago or something. It's like, damn, the guy got really wrinkled up. You know, while it's similar to the presidents when they go in office, you know, before office and after office. It's, I swear, it's literally the same thing. Um, yes, Sigius, those were the two big companies. There's two good things about that IPO for them, and I'll tell you what they are. One, the first answer is the two big companies were Paradigm and Sequoia. You know, from the valley, and they're in the like literally, if they're not the leaders, in the leading position for in the crypto world or in the realm. Second, when a company like that, like Citadel, does an IPO, guess what it also frees itself up to become? Now it allows itself to get by law, now it can get bailed out by the government if needed be. So remember that privately owned companies, which is what Citadel was before, those companies, they can't, in case of even if they were big and they need, like, the economy needed them or whatever, they don't get no bailouts from the government. But if it's a publicly traded company, then it could qualify for bailouts. So that could be something that might come down the line, where they get, and we already know that that's happening regardless. But when the time comes, they are going to be one of the ones that are most likely, I guess. Again, it's my opinion that they will probably, apply for getting bailed out. Oh, Radwan, welcome to the chat, brother. Halfway through your last video, amazing ideas. I will call you US Taz from now on. Appreciate it, brother. Hopefully, the fasting is going great with you, and the holy month is not taking its toll on you. May God reward you. Speaking of that, guys, I've seen yesterday, and I posted it on my Facebook. It was crazy. I've seen a video of people, like Muslim people, making their prayers in the middle of Times Square. It was an amazing sight to behold, like to see, because what's so amazing about that? Look where they at. This is why I love this country. This is why I love this country. There's so many things that you can love about this country, and there's, of course, many things that you could hate, like when it comes to the stock market about the country. But overall, the people of this country are not nothing like, it's a politicians or whatever. The people of this country are the best, the hands down the best in the world, um, because it's a melting pot. And you've seen them in the middle of Times Square, like where it's all busy, people are walking around them and everything. And it's like a big group, like a huge group, like, all in rows. Um, and the imam is like reading the scripture, and they're praying, and everything is moving on with its own life, and all the digital boards, how Times Square is moving, and no one is like bothering them or saying crazy stuff to them or some closed-minded stuff, like in some other parts of the world, like people do crazy stuff, it depends, like, many parts of the world, if people don't respect your belief or your faith or your thoughts, they don't just leave it to themselves or at least respect you so you can respect them. No, they take it, put into action. They take action, and that's what obviously hurts me the most, or hurts the world the most, is when people can't get along. Like, what's wrong with me or somebody else respecting each one another's um way of life, you know and that's so, it was so amazing and so beautiful to see. Like, you guys could look it up on YouTube and see it. It was so beautiful. And you could see everyone in those lines were all like from all kinds of all parts of the world. Like, you had so many different people inside. You've had some um white people, you had some black people, you had some Arabs, you had some you know who else is left? You have some Asians in there. Well, Arabs are also technically Asians because they're in the Middle East, but the Middle East is in Asia. So, but my point was, it's a melting pot, and I've seen all of them united together, and then everyone around them, it's like nobody was heckling them. And look where too. This is to show you how great the people of this country are, guys. Of course, you always have bad everywhere you go, but you always have also good everywhere you go. But in my again, my humble opinion, I want to offend anyone. This country has more greatness and a great heart and great intentions than and great will, um, than what is prescribed about it in the news, of course, and about us in the news. For what the governments are doing or whatever. So that we're not even gonna jump into that. But yeah, that was my heart warming moment. Future whale. Future whale, I think you're a current whale. You're not a future whale anymore. Well, after AMC, you'd definitely be a future whale even more. How are you, brother? Quentin, I'm good, man. If he gets any control over crypto, we are doomed. you got to remember, Quentin, it's not just him who's trying to get it. Like, you know how many people, the reason why guys like him don't get uh, put down, um, you know, unless they do some sort of like, unless they get really, really stupid, similar to like Epstein. You know, the guy was doing stuff like that for like, you know, how many years and everything, so many screwed up things. Um, and you know, when he got caught is when all these people started coming out and like the stories. And I think like it even like he even met his doom when he threatened to release that paper or that letter of names. I know that the guy was never going to see another day of light. Like, you know, as soon as he said that, like, you know, the powerful people that were in there, I mean, come on, guys. One guy was caught, and it was a prince in England. Prince, whatever, I forgot his name, Richard, Harry, whatever, Maguire. Um, you know, and then does a settlement for money, and it's like, you know, everybody does it under the carpet. But anyways, back to R. Kelly. When these guys, like, you know, they're so powerful, and there's a lot of people that are riding on them or pushing them or backing them up, and they got so many other also members of law in their pocket because they and donate to their campaigns when they're running for office, whether it's in the Senate, whether it's in some sort of Congress position. Um, you know, these guys are connected so that they no one can really get to them unless they do some stupid, really stupid, out of the way move, and they're completely exposed. You know, uh, and then eventually bring down that try to bring down, and they themselves will try to bring down the house with them, but the house will not allow them to do so, and that's when they sacrifice the player. um, you've seen it, guys, when Epstein was not in the news, all the people wanted to be his friends. You guys seen the documentary in Netflix, didn't you? Because if you haven't, you should probably watch it. It will make you sick to your stomach. All politicians, all famous people that you could think of, and I'm not even going to mention any names, but if you watch the documentary, you'll know what names I'm talking about. They were all friends and partying with the guy and everything. As soon as he got caught, everybody is like, you know, no, he was a bad guy. I don't want anything to do with the guy. Yeah, people, you know, eat your greens, kids. So yeah, it's so Quentin, yeah, so like they're ultimately like that putting their hands on it is his hands, but it's the plan of the governments, because you know the governments obviously want to regulate crypto. They know it's the future. That's always, like, for so many years they've been trying to make that move, but they just needed to you know, regulate it and get it you know, within their grasp before they can, you know, get it going like that. Because you know, if banks don't adjust, and all these powerful people who are own everyone else, those stand to lose the most, those banks, because their monetary system will change. They will become useless when, you know, paper money goes away. um, so they're basically, their plan for over these years, all these years, is try to somehow and continue. And I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if they're the ones who came up with the idea of crypto and all that stuff, some sort of government secret, and they put it on the Satoshi guy or whatever, who don't exist. I don't buy into that. I feel like it's some government. I don't know which one, but some government made that because they want to get back at each other. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it was China try to, you know, change the monetary system in the world, knowing that the dollar is the most dominant, and the U.S. is the most dominant because of the dollar and the strength in the petrodollar. So it could be the Chinese government. I wouldn't be surprised. I actually believe it more than the idea of there was a Satoshi guy who created it and kept a few for himself, and then just disappeared into the ether. You know, it makes no sense. Any great invention in history that, you know, even if it was stolen from someone and someone else took credit for it, the idea of that is somebody will take credit for it, and they will, like, you know, they will come up and they'll become big entrepreneurs. And you know, that's the story of, you know, you've seen like people like Elon Musk, all these big time billionaires and all that. Tom, you know, from Facebook, even though technically he took the idea from these two twin brothers, but he still, he didn't just create the metaverse or the Facebook and then, oops, I'm gone and no one will ever find me and can track me. So, anyways, I think that the government obviously has been trying to get its hands on it so that it can regulate this thing, and when it regulates it, it's all business after that. Same thing just with crypto now. And the banks want to make sure that they don't get overthrown from their dominance in the world. Because, you control the money, you control the power, you have the power, you control the rules and everything. That's where all the power is where all the money is. And obviously, that's what makes banks that big and that big of a deal. So they're not going to just give up on their seat on the table. They're going to obviously continue to fight tooth and nail and make sure that if there is a change, that they're in the front uh, seats, for it. If that's how the crypto becomes, take it like, and personally for me, I will always just be, I will never be a crypto holder. I'll just be like a buy, day trade crypto. That's it. But at that time, it will become way less volatile, way less volatile. Um, it will become just like the forex, as you can see now, it's just digital instead of, things. It's so crazy how they do things. Um, so overall, guys, what we're looking at, like today, and at least even the last week and the week before that, we're looking at the markets. If you look at the stocks, especially the meme stocks, or even majority of the market as a whole, for the past couple weeks has been doing small, steady. Remember when we were talking about small, steady, nothing violent, nothing rough movements? I believe this is also why they bumped AMC and GameStop last week back down again illegally. Um, because they want to see, they want this thing to. I feel like what they were doing from the get-go was they gutted. Imagine AMC or GameStop or any of these stocks as a pot that's filled with food. Okay, literally like just filled with food and it just got cooked. I feel like what these guys did is they went ahead and digging and pulling out all the food and throwing it on the side and just keeping it on the side and then until it got empty, which is when the prices all dropped down. And then all they did was to start taking the food and putting it back in. Um, and in doing so, how many diamonds did they find while they're digging? How many diamonds did they find, along the way? And what I mean by diamonds as people who paper handed, people who, thought that they could get a dip, so they sold out, and now they see a little rise and buying back at a higher point average. Um, they also get some shares from these paper hand people, and all that stuff. So I feel like that's all they did was just dig in, put everything on the side, yet put it back in. It's just over time, over months. And that's what it looks like because it's not just one or two stocks that's rebounding, guys. Look, all the stocks are rebounding. And maybe today AMC and see, as we said, it's almost going back to be even or even green. Um, but even if it's not for the marijuana stocks, and this is why I definitely love this, what's happening. Like I know with Sundial, there's some news as far as they the reason why they're 4 or 5% down is so stupid, but they have a reasoning for it apparently, and that's because they are they're punishing them for not submitting their earnings yet from the fourth quarter, which will happen around or on or before the 14th. And that punishment is from its own regulator. I think it's the MCP, something like that, in Alberta. Uh, so that's what we see. But again, I did make my small entry in tlry as far as I said yesterday, and I did uh, play some straddles on that, and I will not hesitate to pull the trigger and make some calls after the earnings. But again, that's why I did straddles because with the way that they manipulate this market these days, you will have a move after earnings. Doesn't matter how good or how bad it is, especially on meme stocks. You'll have a crazy, drop, and you can't explain like how's on the great news is dropping, you know? So I just wanted to protect myself on both sides, and that's what straddles do. Um, a little more expensive, but it's worth the risk. It's better than getting pummeled. And I can easily play weeklies on that. Again, I'm not giving financial advice, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. Um, so, like, yeah, I can play weeklies on that because, again, it's around the earnings that they're going to do this Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday, I think. Um, so I look forward to that. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to have a volatility, whether it's to the downside or the upside. As long as it's not, a couple dollars here or there, or a couple of, sorry, not a couple dollars. In tlry's case, that's a lot at this point. Um, but yeah, like as long as it's not like 10% movement or 5% movement, I need it to be, 20, 30%, 40% or higher. It doesn't matter whether in the up or the downside. And you know what's crazy, guys, is that when I was up in the pre-market, Sundial had the sickest green candle um, I've seen possibly in Sundial in a while. As soon as it opened out of the gate, it went up like boom, 6% straight up. And it stuck there for a little while. And then it kept bouncing like, a little bit around that, hovering around that area, then back down, and then back up around that area, and then back down. And then when the market opened, you see this. People, of course, were making their money. They entered, made their money, and got out. Institutional, that is. I'm not saying retail. I know the people that are holding Sundial, majority of them are in for the long run. And look at GameStop. That's what I'm in love with right now. Steady, small stair steps. Perfect to the upside. Okay. And ooh, another person to talk about was, you guys remember 2 weeks ago? I don't know where Tierra is, or a week ago, I think. Yeah, it was last week. When Tierra was asking about ater. You guys see the monster move that ater had today? 50 plus percent. Um, you know, on the upside. Remember, Tierra asked, and she's like, "What do you think about that?" And I told her that it's a heavily shorted one. It's similar to bbig as well. Um, but I remember that their CEO, and this was a little bit ago, like a few months ago, was I like their CEO a lot, Ater's, ticker symbol ATER. Uh, you know, their CEO I liked a lot because he actually kept coming out, similar to Ryan Cohen in a way. He's not as intelligent or sophisticated, I would say. But as far as the heart or where he stands, he hates the shorts because he says, that he said at that time that, his company is one of the companies also that are victims of this short sellers. Um, and they're shorting it not legally as well. That's what he exactly said. So he even went and hired some private investigators to go through about this now. What happened to the private investigators until now? I'm assuming similar to the DOJ. But nevertheless, it had a monster move today, which is still nothing, compared to where it needs to go back up to. This thing was up in the eights and the tens comfortably. Um, right now, yeah, still up 42%. It dropped a little bit, but 42%. This has two things, like, and it depends on what you like. For example, I know some people that would be so bold to go ahead and short this thing, and not just short it, but they will play two things just so they can cover their backs. They will short it at the same time they will get calls on it. And the reason why I would say that is because after you see a sudden rip into a stock like this, it's either going to be a pump and dump, or it's going to be an initial buy-in, like covering people covering their shorts, which could, with time, overall trickle down its get more and more and more and more violent over the days, similar to like what happened to SPRT that we were talking about. I was telling you guys about yesterday, like the situation with it and what how it happened and how beautiful and it was so sweet and easy. So they would do that. Now you're like, okay, but why would they short and put calls on it? Well, these guys, that's what I mean. Like they're so, it was such a sophisticated level of thinking, but you have to be there ASAP to try to cover your back. So like what they do is they try to basically seize the moment before it happens. And if it drops, they keep their shorts and they make a lot of money, especially because we look where the price of this ticker symbol is. This is why penny stocks, guys, are the target, the ultimate favorite topic, target for short sellers, because they can pile up their shorts on them like so cheap, to get the shorts on it, and then most likely the short interest on them, even if they have to pay a premium to short it, it's not going to be anything similar to like having to short a stock like Tesla or whatever, like you just have to be a completely big and another big fish to do something like that. But as far as retail wise, like I'm saying, even if they're wealthy ones, like that's what they would do. Like I've seen people do that. I've done that before, where you would short a stock and then also get calls on it. Whichever one checks out to be first, then you go ahead and close up the other side and you keep one side and that'll be it. So most of the times when you see this sudden movement like an ater, most likely it's going to be dropping back down, and you already see the level of weakening, like its levels of weakening up its movement to the upside, and it's moving down now. It's like people are selling, because they see it's the end of the day. Most of these people are the paper hands of ater's movement. So whoever is a paper hand in ater, whoever's in ater right now, this right now you see in red, because you see people who are saying, okay, we had our run, I'm gonna get out right now because I don't think tomorrow, or they're at least probably selling some of their position, not all of it, but at least that's who those people are. They're dumping. You're not dealing with someone who's ladder attacking right now, or not much of that. Even if it's happening, it's not much, because majority of this, since the day is coming to an end, people want to seize their profits. Listen, whether you like those people or not, the scalpers, the day traders, um, they're always going to be there. So you have to adjust your strategies also and incorporate these people within it, like these individuals within it, because you get when you do so, then you'll have a different thinking and approach to how to trade. You see what I'm saying, guys? Um, you guys are probably like, if he says, you see what I'm saying one more time. This is how you know it's all coming from here and here. I'm not like, thinking twice about what I'm saying. It's just coming out. Um, let's see. Okay, yeah. So Tiny, I really think it is a flex trying his best to seem okay on the surface, but he can lie to the world, but he can't lie to his own face. Yeah, indeed, Tiny. Yeah, like they can't look like they're sweating in front of the world, because then people, sharks will smell blood. So they always make it look like nothing is happening, everything's great. Um, it's amazing. Vincent, ¿qué pasó, amigo? Yo, Peter, what's up? Fasting is great, brother. I love it. It's my favorite month, really, of the year. Honestly, it's my favorite time of the year, because I swear to you guys, you know, for me, speaking personally, I'm pretty sure it's probably similar to many others who share the same faith. It is the only time where I feel so like ready, like to like mentally nourish my soul from the inside, not just physically my body or whatever, or my thoughts, no, but my soul, nourishing the soul. It's a completely different thing. And then once you get out of it, I swear I always feel like, I'm naked, like something that was so great just left. And now, sorry guys, I'm getting a lot of messages and stuff. Um, but yeah, like and it feels like everything is being taken away, like something just so great just left, and you feel like all the evil is back onto you now. So yeah, I'm having a great time, brother. It's my favorite time of the year. Oh, look at this. Not sure, but here in AMC is a golden cross. Peter, in the beginning of the live chat, I said that, today you will see a little bit of a rise or consolidation. Yesterday, we even said that in the chat. Um, that you will see consolidation today. Most likely that was the pick, and we did see it. And you see, we went back up into green right now. We're gonna close, I'm pretty sure, around the same price that we were at, or we're gonna close in the green, but not much. But expect this. I said this in the chat. You guys all heard it here. You guys bear be my witness. By 6 o'clock today, you'll see they have time. Basically, by 6 o'clock is when many of these institutions have, if they have covering to do, they have to start submitting it by then, or they have to submit it by then. So you're gonna see, I believe you're gonna see a little rise in by 6 and after hours, and then eventually tomorrow is the day that we get a really nice sizable move up, like really up. Yeah, I am overlooking the bearish pennant that I saw in the 15-minute chart, but again, I was looking mainly at the 6 month, which is a much better indicator. Instead of the 15, the 15 could possibly tell you like the near future term or like what to expect soon, but for the long term, no. It's always better to obviously get the whole overall trend that is happening in the stock. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it, Peter. Frankie Muhammad, the man, the myth, the legend. Uh, Ramadan Mubarak to you too, brother. Redwan, could I make a suggestion if you don't mind? Would it be possible to give your stock tips in a separate video? It's getting harder to follow everyone's stream. Thank you. Yes, you got it, Radwan. I will do that. I actually said that, I think sometime this week, I wanted to say the story that, uh, that got AB to get to this point and what's the AB story and all that stuff. So on that day, I'm not going to tag any AMC or anything or GME on it. I'm just going to say the story. And then on that same day, I'm also going to make a video for the ones who don't want to watch the story or listen to it, and that gives them what, like, it's still regular days as usual for them. And you can hear everything you want about the stock on that day. That story is just about something else. And I'll be doing that one live. So you don't even, anyone, whoever is in here, you don't want to hear that. You clearly, if you see the title and you see AB story, then you don't even have to attend the live, You can watch the video when it comes out. Perhaps the 5-minute summary video that highlights the most important points. Of course, you got it, Radwan. No worries. Pete, how are you? What's up? What's a good way to find penny stocks? Are you pertaining to, because I can tell you anything that's under $5 is a penny stock. But I know Future Whale, you probably was like asking me, and I know that like, the understanding was good penny stocks, right? Well, here's the thing. My thing, Future Whale, is that I don't look at every stock of just which one is going to go up. Okay, so let me explain this to you guys. In order to be also a day trader, a successful one, let alone a successful one, you have to see, you have to start seeing the possibilities of you also thinking about shorting, you doing puts, you doing calls, you doing stock purchase, all that kind of stuff. So it's not a one cycle of just always up, 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 up. There's always opportunity every day. And when the people who say that, similar to what I'm telling you right now, that there's always opportunities every day on the market, it's because it doesn't always have to be a stock that is moving up. It could be a stock that is also moving down, and you jump in on it. Similar to that one that I know a lot of people made so much money shorting that stock, that that stock that jumped up. I don't know, what was it like, X nuts or something like that? It was D. I can't even say it, but yeah, I think it was X nuts, something like that. It jumped up like 300-400%, you know, and clearly, like I said before, like some stocks are just the easiest. Remember when I told you guys, Indo oil? Remember when I told you that this is the easiest short of all shorts of all time? Um, you can look and see how that is so entirely true because when it jumped up to the, remember when it went up above 100, in the 80s and the 90s and whatever, all that range that it was in. Now it's like in the what, the 20s or the teens, something like that. Let me see, where is it at? And yeah, 2220. Can you imagine the people that shorted that? The kind of money they made, and look at the amount of money people made on Tesla today. Like I said, I dodged a major bullet today, because I had puts on Tesla, and I didn't close them because I was in good in the money. But then, as soon as this happened, like early in the morning, as soon as the market opened, when I was doing that, I closed them right away. I walked away with a nice, it was like 12% loss. So I was happy on those, but I was extremely happy on that. Otherwise, it would have been a disaster to try to wait until the 14th, the end of this week, or sorry, the week after, for a drop. No, I would rather exit and then get a position in it as a put later than to to stay on there hoping, like waking up every day, God, please, please, I promise I will fast every day of my life. Please let this thing drop. And of course, it doesn't help when Elon is going on online and having interviews and being so great and putting all his and releasing that he took a big position in Twitter and he got a big investment in Twitter. So Twitter saw a huge jump as well. So yes, future well ultimately, um, the like there's so many things. If you're just looking to buy it on something that's gonna go up, um, you always want to look, especially if it's penny stocks, then you always want to look at their financials. You want to look at what they're doing financially, the company itself, because you don't want, um, you know, anything to be released, as in like they're struggling with revenue or any of that that could easily catapult your investment. But if you look, on anything. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, future, but if you look on any stock, you approach it and you see where is it most likely going to be on to go move into the up or to the bottom. That's the way I approach it. I don't care much about the what the company is, or it doesn't mean anything to me. Again, this is a trading desk, not a get to know me and let's go out. You know, stocks. So I don't fall in love with the stocks except AMC and GameStop because I know that they're tied up. And even them, eventually, when the time is right and the price is right, I'm more than willing to part ways with them. Trust me. Short sellers are future buyers. DFV. Yes. uh, some companies, remember, guys, some companies like deserve uh to even get shorted. So like even if you have this in the back of your head, like, oh, shorting is bad, of course, when it's done wrong and it's terrible and all this stuff, of course it's terrible. Now, majority of the times I wouldn't want, like, I don't like the idea of shorting in general. uh but if a company is really indeed gonna fall and that's it, is done, um I don't see a problem with why these, why the world will make such a huge deal of people making money. I mean, you could be one of those people that could be short in something that's going bankrupt. That's it. Like Luckin Coffee. if you remember this was like back in 2020, when the pandemic was going on and there was the shutdown, uh, you know, of the pandemic. That was a crazy ride, for so many people. Did that company deserve to get shorted? Of course, absolutely. I was one of the people that enjoyed actually shorting it, um, because I saw it ruining so many of my other friends' portfolios like crazy. And the crazy part, it wasn't even like I didn't even see it myself. It was a friend that got screwed on it that told me about it. And before he got screwed on it, he was like, dude, you need to look at this. And I was like, what is this? What are you talking about? And he was like, look at this company. It's called Luckin Coffee. This is your time to get in. Trust me. And he got in when it was like $8 or $9, and he thought it was the steal of the century because he was like, this thing is labeled as the Starbucks, Starbucks killer, and they're growing rapidly. And in China, they already outnumber Starbucks. They have so many more Luckin Coffee as theirs, and their finances are amazing and everything like that. It turned out to be a Ponzi scheme. Their CEO ended up, uh, I didn't end up even jumping in that play as far as like buying shares. Something just seemed off, like completely off about that play. And he was just my friend. He's a doctor and he's up in New York actually. So if he's watching this, sorry to put you on this, but I gotta say the truth. So they were jumping in like he was jumping in like crazy, putting in money because he so believed in that company. And guess what happened? The CEO of that company was apparently giving out wrong financials and he was ripping money from the company himself. And suddenly all that got closed. And guess what happened ultimately? In a long run, the company got delisted and it got basically from the NASDAQ. So whoever was investing, even if it was at a penny valuation, they lost that penny. You see what I'm saying? So in that case, I was happy shorting that one. I shorted it from the $6 range all the way down to it was like 320 or 220, and I was no, yeah, 320, and I was like, I should have just held on even more to that short position. Like that would have been even more profitable. But again, I'm not. You have your limits and your times. And you have to have your strategies. And I had mine. I made my money, and again, I still hate that, like that company and what happened on that in that situation because it like I said, my friend, like it ruined him. And you have like one side who's making money, and then you have one side who's not. And this is why I don't invest at all in any Chinese based companies in these times, because simply any rug can be pulled out of nowhere and you have nothing to bail you out or take care of you, or you can do nothing about it. No, nothing. Um, so Neo is my most favorite, literally, stock out of the Chinese sector. But even that, I'm not in. Um, as much as badly as I want to be in it, and as it had a nice move today, but I don't want to be in it because of I've seen, like when just politics between the two nations, it's just the way that they are. At any given point, a rug can be pulled or an announcement can be made. Oh, Neo lying about this, or their pieces are screwed up, or I don't know. I still wanted to be in the EV sector. I wanted to invest at least in one. So instead, I just chose to be with Workhorse. I like it. I know there's a lot of um, upside to it, more than Neo, but there's also much less like down. There's much more downside to it as well. Now, as far as the company and there's how big it is and all that stuff, of course, Neo is much, 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 much bigger. But Workhorse has a much higher percentage of potential. It's already here. It's an American company, and on top of that, it's like there's a lot of things that are being buried about that company. And besides the fact that it's crazy being like shorted like crazy, um, they still had like there was a time where they were working on something and everybody was talking about they were, oh my god, they're about to uh, put out delivery trucks for Walmart. They're making a blue truck. Somebody had some sort of tripod and like flew it over the gate, and they saw a painted truck, you know a blue painted truck with some yellow on it. So they're like, oh, that must be the Walmart stuff. So everybody was thinking that that's what they're working on because they're working on something. They're working on a project. They've even announced it. Um, but with who? Let's see, because they lost out on the I think it was the UPS contract, and that would have been pretty huge. Imagine if all delivery trucks for UPS or you know were being bought or manufactured through Workhorse. I mean, whatever ticker symbol is going to give out that. Um, and I just hope it's not at this point. I hope it's not Tesla at any given point, because they could easily, the guy could easily, Musk could easily go ahead and, make a completely different model that's just for commercial stuff, similar to what he did with, I think it was Pepsi, right? Yeah, I think he did that with Pepsi. It was like about 5, 6 months ago. He basically made like he's like making Tesla trucks for them, delivery trucks for them. Um, and I don't know when that is gonna pass or when they're gonna get that going. So yeah, I don't have a gigantic position in Workhorse, but I still believe in that more because again, I just wanted to be have a stock on my portfolio that's in the EV sector, uh, like as far as accumulating stock with potential in it. So that one, if obviously the way that it got shorted down to the way that it got shorted down to the threes and the twos, it was a huge buying zone for me. So, I was like, okay, we'll go ahead and put a small position in this because, I would want to put more money or most of my money in GME and AMC anyways. But why not? Tiny investor. GME closed at 170. Yep. Very, very, very good. Future well, that's pretty rude. I don't think you have anybody in here that wouldn't want to watch your video of yourself. Um, well, Um, when I asked how you look for penny stocks, I meant what scanners do you use. I do trade going up and down. I'm just curious if you know AB. Uh, no, I feel you, brother. Uh, well, as far as like the viewing me or any of that, I value people's time, honestly. So I know that most people, where they come in here to watch, um, I would like to feel like they're coming here to first see AB, but in the same time, mainly it's about the stocks. If AB is not talking about stock, they're gonna be like, okay, let's go to Trey or whatever, and do all that stuff. So I know that what they're coming to watch, and I don't want to, if somebody don't want to hear a story and they just want to see something. I just want to be respectful of people's time, and just tell you from the beginning so that you don't feel like you came in thinking that you're gonna have some stuff to talk about for AMC or Sundial or GME, and then uh, he's this guy's talking about himself. What a prick. I don't want that to be the case, but I appreciate it, Future Well. You're very, very, very gracious and very, very nice man. Um, Luckin Coffee is still a good company. As far as a company, yeah, strong. Maybe in China, yes. Still did not, go anywhere basically here in the US yet. Um, has big potential, but as far as the company itself, like the stock, it's terrible. And it's like as far as this is similar, like the company is similar to our perhaps we could say the company is similar to our government. The people are good in this country, but the government is not entirely on our side. We'll just put it that way. Similar to that company with Luckin Coffee, the CEO again, he was embezzling money, taking money into his own pocket. He stole millions of dollars, and on top of that, he you know disappeared into the ether after that. Pretty sure he probably split that money with the Communist Party. They were like, okay, you take the money, we'll give you half, and you give us half, and then we'll keep your freedom. Sounds like a very it's a win-win situation of a robbery, right? Yeah, uh, uh, John. I'm like I've seen. Okay, so I've seen people get super super screwed up on that play. Maybe because of the time, obviously they jumped in was like in this final time. I've seen people even jump at those times. Remember when he even received its first letter for being delisted from the Nasdaq if it doesn't cooperate or meet those requirements. Um, People still jumped in at that time and still made money because that's what the stocks does. Up down, up down, up down, small movements. But they were jumping in with like some heart, like they jumped in, and you're probably one of them, John. Um, but I've seen people jump in when it was in the $3 range, literally, um, and jumped in with a huge position. And when it jumped up to like 380 or 390, like they were scalping it, or $4, they were selling it, but they were very quick in, and then it was maximum like one day, if not the same day, sometimes, or 2 days max, and they were out because they knew that fear or that problem of them being delisted was going to be coming at any time because that paper was issued by Nasdaq to them already. So they knew what they were up against, but they also, on top of that, still got him because they saw potential, um, in the thing. It's kind of like a a salvage vehicle, but people still go to the junkyard to get parts off of it to put on their cars, and that's, I think, what those people were doing. Um, I don't have anything against any company. Well, maybe against, yeah, Citadel, probably one. But everyone else, every other company, I don't have anything personal. Again, it's just business. I hope Luck and Coffee can come to the US and basically better its management, and of course, get going and get bigger, because at the prices that it's at, I could easily, with the growth that it had in China, um, I could easily see a Starbucks, not a Starbucks, that's a hookah flavor, Starbucks, you know, competition, major competition, on a global scale. And then you could easily like get in at these prices. Whew, watch it go up to the 50s and 60s. Okay, what else we're gonna look at? Sorry guys, you see I'm not too upbeat and crazy because fasting takes its toll on you. Um, in fact, I'm getting more thirsty the more I talk. But again, it's part of this. So I actually enjoy this because if it was easy, then then what's the fun in that, right? Uh, let's see. Torre's earnings. They are this as we spoke Thursday, I believe. Can't see it. Where is it? Why doesn't it pop up in here? No one likes me. But on an overall note, guys, we have the whole market is, as you can see, for the past few weeks, have been stair stepping slowly and slowly, in turns too, in turns, up, up, and up and up, uh, to the upside. And I feel like that's just a trend. These guys, they basically shorted just about every stock in the market and brought it down, and ladder attacked it and did everything to it, stripped its clothes off and put it back on, everything. And now we have, you could see, like, these companies are trying to go back. I wouldn't be surprised to see the neos back into the 40s sometime soon, because that's the amount, like that's the number that they were consolidating at the most that I've seen. uh so therefore I can see Neo slowly and slowly going back up to the upper 30s and the bottom 40s. But again, I don't touch it because, again, Chinese company. I don't know. At any given moment, a bombshell can be dropped, and let alone China is just not the best government in the world right now. We'll just put it that way. I don't want to get political on you guys, but no communists. I'm not saying anything about the people itself, but the government itself has a lot of human rights issues and um, crimes. And if they were not as big or as powerful as they are, then they would be like they will be paying for those crimes that they're doing, committing genocides. Okay. Don't you think it's a good place? Say it could possibly go back on Nasdaq. They changed the whole board. Yeah, yeah. No, well, I don't know if you put this comment as I was making my speech or when I was talking, John, but you know, you probably heard it. Yeah, I totally said exactly that. It will be a great possibility because again, how many Starbucks competition or competitors do you see out there? Not much. They're all local or on a smaller scale. They cornered that market, but Luckin Coffee is the closest thing to actually, you know, giving them some real run for their buck. Also, there are plenty of other companies that have committed fraud. That happens on the daily. What I've learned is not to hold, just take profit. Well, then you're the ideal investor. Always take your profits. For me, I always get my initial investment out. I've said that many times since the beginning of the channel. I always get that out so that whatever I'm holding for is with no pressure at all. I just do my thing after that. I can, collect whatever profits I want or hold for whatever I want. But again, it all depends also on the kind of play. Like if it's an options play, then, that strategy is a little different. If it's a shorting play, it's a little different. If it's stocks, then it's also a little different, depending on the stock too and the situation and what we're going on. Like for example, GME, I did not collect profits. Even when it went up to the 70s, I didn't collect profits. That's for AMC and GME when it bounced back up in June and went up to the 300s when AMC had its run. I didn't, scalp or take any profits because in that case it was a little bit different. Maybe you would not agree with me on that one, John. But again, like I said, everything else, I totally agree with you on what I do or what you do. Everybody does what they want to do, and no one can tell them nothing. But with those particular two stocks, I did not, take no profits or nothing. I did have options on the side that those I was able to, of course, not diamond hand or anything. Uh, you don't want to diamond hand an option. It's not that it won't happen, but diamond hand in options is like basically walking on a thin, thin, very thin line over the golden bridge, you know? Literally imagine all that instead of the golden bridge, you're walking on a thin line. So if you can do it, it's doable. It could happen, but there's so many variables that of unknown variables that could happen that you don't know about that could easily get you screwed over. So that's why with options, yeah, that was different. Oh, another one that has been horrible is ocgn ocgn. I lost a lot, but like you are saying, it's a salvaged vehicle. Yep. Uh, the, man, these short sellers, guys, what they have done, like what they've been doing and how they've been stripping companies left and right, it's unbelievable. I mean, OCGN, I'll tell you this about it. Uh, I know that it had you probably, John, you probably invested in it because it had all the right intangibles for it. I mean, being the one, probably the only company, as far as I know, because I didn't dive deep into that, but I do know the things that I need to know at least if I want to trade it. I need to know at least the basics on it. And I do know that OCGN was supposed to be the candidate that brings out the COVID pill. And the problem with that was, well, now that we're looking back instead of back then looking ahead, now when you look back and you see it, it made so much sense for an investor to be like, okay, there you go. A lot of people are afraid of taking the shot, but they wouldn't probably mind taking the pill because, they take Tylenol, they take everything, Advil, whatever they want. The pill is so much easier to consume than to take a whole shot of a liquid in your body injection, uh, and you feel like you don't know what's in it. Again, that's I understand like how people think and what they might think like. So at that time, it seemed like a pretty smart idea. The only thing is, when I dug deeper, and this is why I didn't get into ocgn. Instead, I think I did like a day trade on it once. That was it. After finding this out, I knew that at that point, how far away from producing and actually getting that pill going, it was going to be some time before it gets even approved. So with that being, figured out at that, even at that time, it started like, the momentum of no COVID started coming out. Like, people don't want to, they're pushing back hard and they're saying no. And then you started seeing news about Parliament. I mean, you've seen the British Parliament guy, like that, the prime minister having a party while all that happened. So at that time, we were all in the dark, like, hey, is this thing real, or is it like what this crowd is saying? It's not a real threat, or it's not a real virus, and whatever. But when I started seeing that that was dying out, then clearly that pill was gonna be pointless. And I'm still, believe it or not, John, um, I wouldn't completely count them out for the future, but of course, for this time being and for the short term, yes, they were a salvaged vehicle. But that's as far as much as I know about OCGN or ocgn, as some people even pronounce it as. Have a great rest of your day, brother. Thank you, John. Thanks for stopping by. Future Whale, I think you misunderstood what I meant. I've watched every live stream of AB and I was deeply touched by him telling his story of how he got to the US. Oh man, appreciate it, guys. You guys overwhelm me with your love, guys, all of you, and I'm pretty sure Future Whale also understands Radwan. And like I said, yes, I will make those videos. It's so much harder with um, with fasting to actually, like, even have the time. I mean, from one person who's fasting to another, like, we're always reading the scriptures and praying, asking God to be good, looking for opportunity to be good out there, help the need, the poor, the people who need food to eat. I mean, honestly, guys, the older and older I get, I swear to God, I I feel like this world gets only smaller and smaller. It is really, really, really small world, man. Like as big as it can be, and how many people are in it. Um, it's the world keeps getting smaller and smaller as I get older, um, and not in a bad way. It just seems like it narrows down what's the objective of this life, depending on what kind of mindset you are. If you're looking for you have like such a bad output on the world and everything, you see a lot of that these days. I mean, unfortunately, you've seen what happened. What was it, in Sacramento yesterday or the day before yesterday? It was like a mass thing going on, mass shooting. And it's unfortunate, when you see these things, it breaks your heart. For me, that's how I feel about it. um, but when you go outside and look these days, man, like from when I was a kid until today, from until these days, until this point in my life, seeing the homeless outside, I mean, it even it upgraded so much, unfortunately, to the worse. Back when I was a kid, a homeless was always like some sort of, like, the way I envisioned one was always some sort of old, really old person who made bad decisions in life, and they got themselves there. Um, and you have to, synthesize with them, and you have to try to help them, because it's never over for anyone. Everyone can make bad decisions, and we all can make terrible decisions in life that ultimately can, um, put us in very terrible situations. But we have to be, man, we have to be there for each other, because we had, like, when I see nowadays, you see younger kids being overlooked by their parents and everything. I see them all in like gas stations approaching for asking for money. They don't even have a clue of what, like, why go get a job. But then you even get even younger men and younger women now are approaching, they're homeless, and you can tell they're on drugs, and you're seeing them approaching and asking for anywhere you go, anywhere you go. It doesn't matter what state you're in, what part of the world you're in. Um, the world is getting smaller and smaller, guys. And ultimately, when we leave this planet, we're not going to take anything with us. We're not going to take our profits. We're not going to take our attendees. We're not going to take our AMCs or GMEs or whatever we would like. It's just going to be you, um, and to whatever you believe is the higher power after that, or your faith. I have nothing but respect for everybody's faith. That's what my religion teaches me, anyways. Um, and I just hope that you can walk away with taking a lot of what you have done here in this planet. Which that's the only thing you could take with you, is what you do. Help people who need, feed the hungry, try to uplift people and try to motivate people and try to get them to go on a different path in their life, as much as you can. Um, Try to do as much good as possible, because again, like I said, no one knows when their time comes. John, oh, John's still here. That's good. Um, I agree. I held profits on GME and AMC, still holding, kind of getting anxious. LOL. I have 2024 call options out of the money. I buy every week. Oh, okay. This John guy is actually interesting now. How'd you find me, John? I don't remember you in the chat before, but the reason why the reason why it's an interesting thing what you just said is because I know actually some people that do the same exact thing. I'm doing some things that you're doing as well, because of course it's always the riskiest thing is to get anything out of the money, right? We all know that. But if you have some experience and options, then and also you have a lot of conviction in a play, then it almost seems like a no-brainer to jump in and get something that's out of the money, because it only comes down, again, like I said, the experience. um, because the extrinsic value, remember all the times I've been telling you, please, with these plays, be careful. Don't do no weeklies or bi-weeklies or even monthlies. um, because yes, the premium is higher, but you're you're risking basically losing all that money when you play in short term. You see all the manipulation. Of course, they did not care about manipulating those two plays for over a year. So even as you can see, even that could be dangerous. But what one trend that we've seen in those stocks, I'm pretty sure John probably have seen this trend. That's why he does what he does. Is every 3 to 6 months, we always get some sort of little push, some little push. So depending on when you bought your out of the money options, how much did those options cost you? And that's why I always say that it's always good to, the best time to buy options is when it's at its lowest, when it's really, really, really low. Like, remember a week and a half, 2 weeks ago when it was in the 14s and 13s? That was a perfect, perfect opportunity to buy in some options. But again, guys, you know that I personally can't tell any of you what to buy and when to buy, or when to sell or when not to sell. So that's why I gotta, not like come out and say, hey guys, I want to do this and you guys should do this. Like, next thing you know, DOJ is like, hey, we is this Kenny address? Because we're looking for Kenny. Oh no, you're not. Oh, you're AB. Okay, come on over. Let's have a chat. Let's take a walk. so so yes, ultimately what it comes down to is when you buy those at what low value at that dip, and then you could ride out the out of the money for a long, long, long time uh, period, so that extrinsic value is not beating you. And at any time there's an uptick, and that's just the stock market. There's always going to be an uptick, unless it gets delisted. Unless that stock gets delisted, there's always going to be some sort of time where it gets an uptick away from that dip that it had, which is the time that you bought those options at a very low price. That way you're not buying something. For example, if AMC is in the 40s or in the 50s or the 60s or the 70s, in these price ranges, you're looking at high hundreds, the upper hundreds cost or value for an option, to buy an option, even if it was out of the money. If it's in the money, then you're probably looking at paying thousands. Uh, but when it dips to like the 14, 13, 15, 16, the options, there was like many that was out of the money that people could buy for, you know, $8, $10, $9. And the crazy thing is, if they're purchased, obviously, which is what our dear friend John here, the mysterious, got, um, gets a very, very far out of the money, but very far timeline, then the extrinsic value doesn't work against him in a way, until it gets close to that. Now he has 2 years, and those 2 years, this thing is gonna do a little pop, and when it does a little pop, even if it's not like, let's say he buys, like, let's say, and before I read anything, I'm just gonna guess. Let's say he buys the $100 option strike price. Let's just say that, let's say John probably bought that, right, for 2024. Even if it doesn't get to 100, and let's say in the next 6 months, hypothetically speaking, in the next 6 months, AMC jumps to 60. John will sell for a profit, even though it's not at 100. But the way that the gammas and the thetas of the contract, when the extrinsic value and the volatility play a big role, so that he can sell for a profit. Similar to why last week, when a lot of people were putting pictures, and I was the only one saying this, about their GME, um, and GME and AMC, saying that their certain contracts were in the money, but really what they were posting is that they were profiting on that. And yes, there's a way. It doesn't have to be at 500, or the strike price that they bought it at. As long as the volatility is moving up, so will the Greeks of your option will start moving up as well. So he, excuse me, that's a way to get options for less, but in the same time, not be out of the loop for a major profit. So I've personally, I've had a couple of siblings that I've done this for, this last couple weeks ago. Last week when AMC ran up, they're not trade, like, they don't have my portfolio or anything. They just have their own. And they purchased on last week. They purchased for one of them purchased 33, the other one purchased 54 or 56 contracts. But back when it was low, right? Last week on that rise, that little rip that we had with the AMC, guess what? They made an easy. One of them made 7K, the other one made 9K. No, so one of them made 3,700, and the other one made 7,100, like 7,000. So 3,000, 7,000, not bad, right? But again, the risk is still there, and I can never tell. I'm not advising anyone. I'm never going to tell anyone to do it, or do this, or do that, or what not to do. But I'm just, to protect myself here, I'm going to say, I'm just thinking on John, what John is saying. Yeah, John is like, I still believe in ocgn, but I lost a lot of money diamond handing the options. Yeah, see, diamond handing the options will make you like makes you like a diamond ball. Like it will break you apart. I mean, it has its ups and it has its downs, but the ups are so thrilling and the downs are soul breaking. Tony Spadafino, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. What's up, family? Tony, believe it or not, guys, was literally probably if not the one of the first five, maybe the first subscriber we had in this channel, and it was through a Facebook group too, I think. Tony even vouched for me on that Facebook group, so we'll never forget Tony. Great people. Again, that's on a very, very ever growing list as well that he's on, with Tiny, Investor, uh, along with Redwan. Even Ham every now and then jumps in and pops up and shows some love. Peter, been a staple to this community. And of course, if I forget anybody's, if I didn't mention anybody's name, it's not because I'm forgetting or anything. I remember all of you guys. So if any of you make a comment, I'll tell you how, where, when, and how I remember you. I told you guys I have a really good memory. Hey, you just popped up when I saw CSI. Was it like in his chat, John? Like in his live chat or something? Dude, you could get 2024 out of the money, and if it goes up a little, you still make profit and are 100% safe diamond handing the options. Yeah. See, John? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I'm reading right through. I'm almost caught up. There's only like two comments left or three comments left. Exactly. I plan on buying 2024 for other plays like Palantir, Jumia, EV plays, etc. Jumia and Palantir, guys. For bringing those up, John. Every like literally for a while I've been wanting to talk about them, and I keep forgetting in the in the live that I just continue to talk about AMC and GameStop. But just real quick, Palantir, guys, it has no business being this very low evaluation that it's in right now. It has no business with that. Palantir at worst deserve like it looks like an 18, 19, $20 play at worst. But not where it's at now. And now it's tech season almost coming approaching us. Remember what I was telling you guys yesterday? That's Q3 normally. So Q2 is normally when these people start dumping in or jumping in. Toward the end of, you see in the middle of Q2, which we're in now, to Q3, that's when you see tech companies do their major rise, and it's planned or picked purposely on that time frame because it's right before the end of the year, before they take another major dump. Because people want to collect their profits on a bigger scale, like the Kathy Woods and the Musks and all that stuff. So Palantir, great, big time, great company, and it has a huge future. I personally think. Again, I'm not telling you when to buy or to sell, but that's what I think on it. And Jumia, oh my God, um, Jumia is a company that is, I believe. Let me try to remember because it was a while ago when I ran across it. I believe it's the company that is trying to compete with Amazon, but it's Africa based. So it's the biggest company in Africa as far as like Amazon like platform. You guys in the comment section can correct me if I'm wrong. But like I said, I think I know my stuff on that one. I think I remember. Like I said, I have a good memory. Um, it was like a year ago, year and a half ago when I first came across it, and it has a little. I think it had a little good rise today too, Jumia. Um, but it keeps up and down. So the potential for it is crazy. If this thing kicks off, but of course it needs some time. So if you're looking for growth or investment for the future, if you're looking for a squeeze, you know the plays, guys. I'm not gonna have to even tell you again because you're in them, on your own. But these, like the Jumias and everything, these companies like that have a huge potential to become really like, big down the line and be in the hundreds of dollars evaluation, if not even more, because of the amazingness, the fact that it's the biggest throughout the whole continent of Africa. That's what makes it really great. So it's just a matter of time before it grows, and then the world finishes this weird chapter that we're in our lives. And that's my take on Jumia and Palantir, John. Yepper, Tony. Hanzo, welcome back to the chat, brother. How are you? Sorry if you've answered this. Do you think we AMC squeeze before June GME stock split? Now, here's the thing, Hanzo. We should one, and you probably already heard this, and you're like, okay, V, don't tell me, spare me the time. But I'm gonna have to say it anyways because there's a lot of other people in here. We should have already squozen long time ago, and last week was another one. We had three occasions similar to last week where we should have, on those three occasions, we should have squoze. And trust me, guys, it's not the buying pressure that's gonna get them to cover and all that stuff. It's buy, hold, and eventually when they tap out and they stop getting money from the feds, and the feds stop giving them the money, basically, uh, then you will see a major rip because no one can withhold the over leveraged position that they're in on all these stocks. And it's not just going to be AMC or GameStop. It's going to be all the meme stocks. This is my personal opinion, guys. And you're going to see a wave that is like no other. And it's going to be followed right away with a quick adaptation to the crypto realm because everybody wants to forget about it and run right into the ether. But we'll see about the crypto part. But yeah, so the thing is with June 9, Hanzo, is that's when they vote on that in the meeting, but they will dictate when will that take place, the stock split. My fear is that they will say, for example, because on the professional level, they will never say, okay, effective immediately, like the way that you and I would love it to be, the way it should be, effective immediately. But they always put a time zone on when, because they say that we have to prepare for counting the shares and who has this and who has that. So based on that day, I believe we're going to have two opportunities. One, before the June 9th, we're going to have we're going to have a squeeze. It's going to happen way before June 9, way before, like in this month or in May. Because by then, I believe that the insiders will already have told those shorts that, hey, it's going to be effective like, as soon as the second quarter ends, And that's the crazy part. Look at the time frame after June 9th. I think the third quarter starts June 31st. If I'm not mistaken, anybody can put that date, please, on the comment section so it can make a little more of a cool story or a sizzling story or situation. So yeah, the second quarter ends, I believe, in sometime in the end of June. So if the shorts get a word that from some insider that we clearly know, are that we clearly know are there's someone on the inside. Even Ryan Cohen has been saying that there's someone on the inside that's just giving out information, and this is why some of the board members there left previously, because they don't agree with the fact that he's not sharing his, view on what's the future and the plans with them. And they left, and they started talking about him, but I love him for that, because he said, no, I'm not going to give you my plans so you can go and put them out there so that you could get some money for insider trading. No one knows. It's a hidden secret between you and these shorts. But once they get wind of my plan, then they can easily outmaneuver it. I love the guy for that. So he so GME, if again, back to scenario one, if we're gonna have a squeeze, number one, if these people get word on the phone that, hey, after that announcement, it looks like they're gonna approve it, because they have access to the people who are voting, So when they see, or they know ahead of us that, oh man, it looks like they're gonna do it at the beginning of the third quarter, which means in July right away, they will cover way faster. Like they will do it in this month or in May, if that's the case. But if they get a word that unfortunately we don't have access to until the day of the announcement, you see what I'm saying? If they get word ahead saying that, hey, they will vote on this, or they will agree to this, or let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say they don't agree to this, if the shareholders, I'm pretty confident that they're gonna vote yes on it, unless they're, but nevertheless, so if they vote on it and these shorts get word that they're gonna get this voted on and it's gonna be approved, but also it's gonna be implemented in the beginning of 2023 or something like that, they could say whatever company stuff like, for company reasons, for counting share reasons, and for this, we will start the new float of 1 billion shares on GME, because it's 300 million right now. with the beginning of the new year of 2023, if they say something like that and the shorts know that, get a word about that in advance, then don't think, I personally would not think that there's any squeeze this year, and I will shift my interest for 2023, get ready for 2023. Um, because clearly the feds made it clear, at least I think it was Boss Blunts that I've seen a shorts for, one short video for the gentleman, and he seems pretty cool. I don't know much about him, but I hear Pantheon is always speaking highly of him. So I got encouraged to see that one short, and he said something I didn't really like to hear. Like, not from him, but the feds are going to continue this dumping this repo and reverse repo operations above, or continue it above the 1.5 trillion until the end of the year. And if they do that, then how are we gonna how are we gonna squeeze someone out of a position? Because when you squeeze them out, that means they have no more money and they're over leveraged. They need to cover their positions and their margin. How are we gonna do that if they're constantly liquid? They keep getting money and they keep getting liquid. How are you gonna squeeze them? You guys see how, like, what I'm trying to get to you? I'm not trying to give you guys what you want to hear, or what I want to hear, because if it's about what I want to hear or what you want to hear, I want it to happen right now in the after hours. And as soon as it picks up in the morning, it's over $100,000 a stock, whether it's GME or AMC. And it gets me going, this topic, because I always feel like I need to give, like, people give you the feeling like, yeah, you need to give me what I want to hear. And I know I'm not saying to you, Hanzo, or anyone else in particular, but I see it even on other platforms. Like, people watch out what they say. The YouTubers watch out what they say when it comes to the AMC question and when will we squeeze on before this day or after this day or whatever, um, because they feel like they're gonna be canceled, like a cancel culture, just because they say what they really think. Personally, I didn't just tell you what I think. I broke it down, Hanzo, on what my intake on it. I know the CAT system goes live in July, so that CAT system is really important, and hopefully it doesn't get pushed over as well. But they said, as far as we know, the SEC said is going to be in. And what the CAT system does is, it makes them, basically puts a lot of pressure on the market maker. In a nutshell, it puts a lot of pressure on the market maker. He can't keep fronting things anymore. So basically they have to do a lot of buying back. So I know that goes in effect then. Let's think of this scenario. Critical thinking. Let's do this together on this live chat. CAT system goes live in July, I think July 6th or July 12th. June 9th, we have the vote on GME. Could it be that it's going to be effective immediately? Could it be that Ryan Cohen knows, like, when they vote on this is going to be correct, but he knows what he wants. If everybody votes yes, he knows when could it be possible. He knows it's right around that same time frame where the CAT system is going to be in July, which is when he will announce that beginning of quarter 2 or quarter 3, Q3, which is in July. Beginning on that time, we will have we'll be adjusting to the new float, and basically shorts will have to cover. And even if they were able to even if they wanted to try to pay their dividend to people, and I don't know how, because you know how much money that is to pay dividend to all the people instead of covering their shorts. It's insane, right? But it's still more lucrative to them, or it's still better for them than to have to cover their shorts, because the shorts on AMC and GameStop are catastrophically big, like huge. So they might entertain the idea of paying the dividend rather than closing their shorts. But here's where I feel like this is where the critical thinking parts come in effect. This is why you always got to know who you're against. And us getting to know Ryan Cohen, you got to dig deep into the guy and you get to know him better. Me knowing him, you saw the move he pulled last week. Out of nowhere, he brought that out. And yes, somebody leaked out some stuff to them. So therefore, you saw how like the movement came short, but not entirely short, because we still at 170. GME just a week and a half ago was in the 70s. So went up a whole 100, right? So critical thinking part. What if he already knows that then? And then he knows that these guys will be inclined to go ahead and try to pay the dividend if they have to, which they will be forced to do so, either that or cover the shorts. But more so, he knows that when the cat system goes live and in effect, the market maker can no longer manipulate the orders for him. So the next push could very well be the push, because no longer guy putting, fronting my shares, or not delivering and any of that stuff. All that stuff ends then. So that's what I'll be looking forward to, Hanzo. Hopefully, I mean, I'm sorry guys if it was long enough, but it was very, very good part. I'm glad we did it together. I'm gonna read the comments and see what you guys thought about that, but it could very well possibly be the case. Um, if that vote again, and I'm putting all my AMC and GameStop, I like future thinking is on that. If the uh, vote is a okay, after Q3 or after 2023, with the beginning of the new year, we will start the new float, then I will shift my interest for the new year. That doesn't, that even if it's that, guys, even if it's that, still does not take away, that still does not take away the idea of sudden rips out of nowhere, like what happened last week, what happened last June, what happened last January. You're always gonna get that because it needs a breather, and they also are sometimes on the call side. They can make some calls, and they want to make a lot of money. That's what they do. And if they want to bring in more people on the movement, or catch a lot of paper hands, scare them, like let it go up, and then like what they did in June, 74, come back down. Now we have a lot of people in depth, and maybe we can try to squeeze them out. But like I said, guys, we're closer to the end than away from it, because it's however you see, we just did this thinking all around, what if, and what if, and if not, and if not, and if yes, even all those arrows point to a very closer destination than how much we've traveled. We're talking about this month, next month, July, talking about near term, and at worst case scenario, we're looking at 2023, if Ryan Cohen and GameStop board says something like that. But even then, we're still due for some rips here and there, and you'll see we're very close to one. I know this one we had last week was not the rip; it was halted from being the rip, which is a very strong indication. If they're not allowing another rip similar to what happened in June, that means the next rip is going to be the rip. That's again, not financial advice, but that's just how it seems to me, because they're afraid that any rip they will not be able to contain after anymore. So yeah, hopefully that answers it, Hanzo. Pabloco, what's up? What's up, brother? I recently got burned on some bad option choices. I'm debating to dive in for end of April contracts. Um, Pabloco, you're one of the family as well, like like the inners, one of the people that have been here since the beginning of this movement with us. But I can't tell you yes or no, but here's what I personally think about options for April, just generally for me. Will you do what you want to do with the information that I'm gonna just put out there as my thoughts, as my opinion? Since it's not financial advice, um, you gotta remember this. There's a very, very bullish case. The problem is, I would be more comfortable getting calls, even though it's very risky for the end of April. But I would be more comfortable if they are deep in the money. If they're deep in the money, yes. I would probably be more comfortable, but the problem there is you still would have to, if it doesn't, if it drops, and I mean, how much it will cost that if it's deep into the money. So my opinion is staying away from the out of the money for end of April, because it's so close, and the extrinsic value and the thetas and the Greeks of the contracts will suffocate anyone on a short-term play option, because one day you could be, if the price is up, you can move up, and one day you could be at that same price, the very next day at the very same price, and you see yourself in the red. And why? Because the Greeks start working against you. That's why extrinsic value is your worst enemy or your best friend if you know how to use them. So Again, be careful, Pablo. Just be careful with short term option plays. Hanzo, thank you. I've been watching, just not in chat. Um, LOL, great content. Thank you, Hanzo. It means the world to me. As long as you approve, it means a lot to me. Um, John, not financial advice either. Just excited to share what I do with my money. See, John, I was trying to put the legal on your side, and now you're trying to dump it back on me. But no, you're not trying to dump it back on me. Good on your end. You're trying to just, you know, end it right there. Not financial advice on options. Thanks, my friend. You're welcome, brother. Uh, Last one, AB. I'm also looking at Quantum Scape and Nicola. Yes. Okay. Let me just say before I get to that, Hanzo, sorry. QuantumScape, I don't know too much about. I haven't done any, of my due diligence on it, but I can tell you a lot about Nicola. And I think I talked about it in previous chats before, but I will, do it again because I know there's always new people in here and people also can always forget. So Nicola is in the hydrogen, you know, sector, and they're making these trucks, delivery trucks, semi trucks, to to be green, green planet, and all this stuff. And we all know that the trend is in this realm. But the thing is, with Nicola, is that their first downfall was first they released a commercial back in 2020. I remember, I think, that had their semi truck that they were working on. Apparently, they were advertising that it's going to be the future, and yes, the stock was like in the higher 40s, and I think it even hit the 50s at some point. Um, and then out of nowhere, that commercial that apparently they aired, it was like a truck moving. Apparently, that truck was nothing but a shell. They had no engine or nothing in it. So they got really screwed on the media for that. That means they had no technology. The truck was moving because it was on a slight little downhill. So therefore, it looked like it's moving in the contract, like it was driving, but it really wasn't. And that's why from the end of 2020 all the way until this point, they've been hurting. Now, here's the cool part, guys. Now, before I get to the cool part, the bad parts also is that followed also with a lot of inside sales, a lot of inside people that really were the almost the backbone investors of the company, like big. I think one of them was Weather Mary or Weatherspoon, something like that. Um, Again, it was almost 2 years ago, guys. So I remember the name of that corporation is with the big W. We'll just end it with that. But they also pulled out and they sold millions of dollars worth of stakes in the company. And it got hammered. It got hammered and it started getting, clearly. I feel like that was something that they worked together on with the shorts, possibly, because after that, it started getting shorted, chopped down, shorted to oblivion. And it hit down what it reached like $7 or $6 at some point. Now it's steadily trying to get back up, and now apparently the trucks are been they apparently, according to them, they have already built them, and now they're looking at to take. They just recently, I feel like they took. I think they took. I could be wrong, but you can correct me on this, John. But recently, I think they took some interest in some orders for when they put the trucks in production. They announced some time or some dates when they will start producing those trucks. Um, Honestly, I'll just end it with this: being the fact that it's an American-based company, um, has great like ideas for the technology that it's trying to implement, and all that stuff. I'm really high on Nicola. I'm really high, but it's not. I'm not high on it as in just only for the short term. It's more of a long term play than a short term play, but it's also a squeeze candidate. I could see Nicola in given time, whenever it does bring out its trucks, and let's say it does get this contracts for those trucks. You notice the trend here. There's F and F and F. Um, it can also squeeze, not just go back to normal evaluations of $30 and $40, but I can see it squeeze past the three digits to the 100. or so, because it is, I do believe in the company's overall influence. So hopefully that answers it, John. And you don't have to have a last one, John. You can have as many as you would like, brother. Hanzo, yes, I want that to happen too, but I'll wait forever. Yes, me too. Wow, that cat system in July seems like a huge help. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You have no idea, Hanzo. It's major help because it's a thorn in the eye and the head and the skin and every body part you could think of the market maker, specifically in this case, Kenny the Great. Redwan, can you explain why orders are not filled and why prices gap up or down? Thanks. Of course, brother. So the CAT system has a lot to counter that. Okay. So the orders why they're not being filled, well, payment for order flow is one idea from payment for order flow apps. They go straight to the market maker and the market maker says, stop right here. I'm putting you inside this folder and I'm shipping you under here and I'm putting you and tucking you away where no one will know except the Federal Reserve, because once I go and get loans, repo and reverse repo operations that we were talking deeply about yesterday and emotionally, um, you know, I will get as collateral on your. So imagine this: you're putting in an order, um, and once the market maker gets his hand on it, he tucks it away. He puts in, he holds some. He gets the sell orders through so they can put sell pressure on the stock. Eventually, it turns most of these other shares, majority of them become FTDs because they can no longer ever catch up with the amount of dumping, or hiding they were doing because there was more buying than selling. So the more that you keep on the side, the more covering you have to do. The problem is those FTDs over those months and over a year now became such a large amount to the point where it became like Jack's tree. It reached over the sky. There's no way that they can cover all those FTDs, which is very good for us because when the process happens, you're gonna expect a lot of crashes left and right, left and right. So, anyways, he gets the order, the buy order, and majority of them they can tuck him in, put him in as a security that they own, and then they can use that as collateral to get repo and reverse repo money basically from the big money institutions like the big banks, the Barclays, the City Groups, the Morgans, the Morgan Stanleys, the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs, all those guys um, will get their money for them, and they use this, which is not even theirs, and it's not even supposed to be there. They utilize that as a collateral for it. Why? Because they do all that in a dark pool. How do we see that? You don't. And that's why that's the way they're doing it. Otherwise, if they were doing it in any other manner, everybody will know where they are. For example, if they were not doing all this madness, and this is why I kept saying that dark pool is the single most important thing for us to regulate. Forget this transparency stuff. Forget this 00, 10, NSC 2020, 010. Like that is so, like, I don't care who's going to bail us out, whether it's the hedge funds. And I know they have the money because the article that I shared with all of you guys yesterday was in the trillions in 1 quarter. In 1 quarter alone, these major hedge funds are getting trillions of dollars. So when you had someone like Lou coming out saying this is $1 trillion play at best, it's like, come on, dude. Like, when did you just woke up on the wrong side of bed to come and share that? How do you know that? There's no numbers. But yesterday I showed you numbers. I showed you numbers, and I even put the article in the comment section of yesterday's live chat. So you could go in, and that article will lead you to you could press on it to see an Excel sheet of just the first quarter of 2020, what kind of nightmare and craziness the feds were doing just from the beginning of 2020 to the 31st of 20. So when the shutdown started happening, basically when it happened, how many um, bailouts they were given out, and they've been given out to institutions. So since then, you know, so ultimately that's how the market maker can do it. Now, here's the thing: the cat system will start preventing this from happening or limiting the amount of that from happening. A lot of covering to do when the cat system goes in play, because he can no longer just put them on the side and keep them as failure to delivers down from for some unknown day in the future. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that answers it, brother. That's how basically these things happen. Also, then John, also the name being the first name of Tesla, just interesting fundamentally and mentally. That's exactly what I was thinking of it when I first saw it. And I think when it got on my radar, I played Nicola, by the way, John. I traded it like up and down and some contracts everywhere you could think of, except shorting. I did not short that company because I really did kind of like it. I didn't think it was like logical what they were doing to that company and how those trade events happen. I don't know if it has a lot to do with the management itself that have hand in it or something, but I didn't like that. So, but I did, profit from that company in a few different ways. I remember in 2020, I didn't touch it in 2021. No, I didn't touch it in 2021. I know that it had a long road ahead to rebuild again. But yeah, Nikola Tesla was when it hit in my head. I've always thought that Elon Musk, just as a conspiracy, John, here, this is just me, that why is, Elon in this? Is he related somehow to Nikola? Because he's a genius, just like the guy. Is he related or something? Is he his far offspring and he's trying to get like, I don't know, like get like refill his shoes, his ancestor's shoe, his father or grandfather's shoe. Uh, but yeah, that's my thought. I agree with you. It's also very very weird that it's that that one is Nikola, and then he is Tesla. One is with hydrogen, and one is with electricity. Thank you, but thank you, bro. Okay. So, any questions, guys? If there's any more questions, is there no one else? I am ready to answer. If there is none, I want to just take a look at a sneak peek here at our favorite stocks. Still very consolidating, stagnant movement. Nothing major is happening. Um, okay, looks all good. Um, as far as for future reference, guys, Redwan, thank you for giving me and telling me that that's what like what that reference as far as you wanted me to go ahead and make videos about those particular just about the plays. A quick 5 minute video because I know how everybody's jumping from one place to another, one chat to another, and even time is very crucial. Yeah, I will go ahead and do so. That you gave me a good idea, so I will do so. I will do lives, and then I perhaps would do a quick rundown on companies like similar to what we were doing here right now, the Q&A, but it would be a quick version on a video and post it after. That's something I will do. So that's a great idea. Thank you, brother. Um, and if you guys have any suggestions, anything else you would like, or anything you would see that you want to see, or anything, go ahead. Please put it in the comment section. So I can act accordingly on it. Again, guys, I have only been doing this for like as far as like the channel itself, a little over a month. Um, but that obviously that doesn't mean that's when I started trading. It's just so also hard with the timing with Ramadan and everything. It's like with fasting, it's so crazy. All right. Well, everyone, guys, I really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart again for another amazing live, another beautiful day with you guys. Thank you for allowing me to speak and to give you what I think and my thoughts. And thank you for being an amazing crew and very intelligent crew that has a lot of insights, and you have a lot of things on your own. Glad to add. I'm almost seeing the trend of almost every day we're getting new people in the live chat, and that's very heartwarming. I definitely thank all of you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking the channel. And again, if you have any questions, guys, please put them in the comments section. If we couldn't catch us on the live today, you can catch us on the live tomorrow. And hopefully tonight, I possibly would post a video about the plays and run through the plays like I was telling you, Rodwan, earlier. And we'll go from there. And Peter, with that being said, see you later if you go live again. Otherwise, see you tomorrow. Stay safe and zen. Likewise, brother, I will not be going live again unless something crazy happens after hours. But I will be making that video, to talk to you guys about some of the plays or just the rundown on plays. Besides that, Pabloco, thank you so much. Thank you all, and much love, AB Investments.